Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now I'm going to be sharing a story with you that is very familiar to many of us so-called black people who live here in the United States and various other places around the world as well. Anyway, this is the story of Dorothy Dandridge, and some of you may have heard of the story, but I wanted to visit the topic as it was recently shared again. Of how a hotel in Las Vegas drained their pool because Dorothy Dandridge dipped her toe into the water. They decided to drain the whole pool as white patrons looked at her, almost shocked that a black woman would dare put her toe in the water that we all swim in. Now, mind you, Dorothy Dandridge was a beautiful black woman, but that didn't matter to them. Anyway, I want you all to take a listen to a portion of the story, and I will be right back.
Dorothy Jean Dandridge had an exciting on-screen career in 1950s Hollywood. She had begun as one of the three-person singing group the Dandridge Sisters, which included her sister Vivian, and wowed her way into movies thanks to a silky voice, stunning looks, and the audacity of talent. But it can be argued that Dandridge and the Dandridge Sisters were very much the creation of her mother Ruby Dandridge, also an actress from the 1900s. The mother Dandridge put together the singing group and urged her daughter to give acting a chance. These days, Hollywood is often credited with being at the forefront of social change and progress, although that assertion can adequately be refuted. The showbiz industry is very much a consequence of what is considered acceptable politics at any given time. However, whatever Hollywood was at Dandridge's time is comparably worse than what Hollywood is now. For her first 4 films, Dandridge was uncredited, partly due to the minor role she played and mostly due to her skin color. It was not until her role in the 1940 film Four Shall Die that Dandridge was credited. She was 18 years old at the time, but she was a minor celebrity of a sort, due to shows played by the Dandridge Sisters. It also turned out that although she was uncredited in the films, she had not gone unnoticed by the theater-going public. It also did turn out that fame was not nearly enough to spare Dandridge the ugliness of her America. As she made it into the 1950s even as a more appreciated actress, Dandridge was reportedly invited to Las Vegas to perform. She had not been the first. Trailblazers including Nat King Cole and Lena Horne were all recipients of such invitations, which were considered an honor and a chance for a good payday. But all the black entertainers who went to Las Vegas at the time also realized that Sin City was not accepting of certain sins, including giving equal treatment to white and black people. Las Vegas segregated or simply kept out black people from many establishments, even if said black people were the headline acts on nights. You could fill a room with thousands of paying patrons at a hotel and still not be allowed to eat at that hotel's dining area. When Dandridge stayed at one of those casino hotels where she was billed to perform, she was told the swimming pool was out of bounds for black guests. Dandridge is said to have been enraged by the hotel's rules so much so that she actually moved to break them somewhat. She showed up at the pool in her bathing suit as the all-white swimming crowd gazed. Then Dandridge just stuck her toe into the water. The hotel's management then proceeded to drain all of the water from the pool as a result of Dandridge's rebellious toe dipping. After she died allegedly penniless and suspiciously of suicide, a few biopics have been made about Dandridge. Introducing Dorothy Dandridge, 1999, which starred Halle Berry, as the famed actress told the story of drained pool as melodramatically as it happened. Berry, as Dandridge, is seen walking past the pool at night. She then sees black workers busily scrubbing away her alleged contamination.
Okay, as you've heard, this is like just a short synopsis of what happened with the pool draining. Of course, she was an entertainer back in the day, and although people were entertained by her, they still looked at her as though she was nothing. She was still just a black woman to those who came to watch her perform. Okay? It is very important that we as so-called black people in and around the world understand the issues of the past so that we could learn how to navigate through all of this stuff in today's present time. Unfortunately, many of us don't know of these things, especially the younger generation. The younger generation live by this code of hear no evil, see no evil. Some of them act as if they don't know anything about the past, including slavery. They don't know the horrificness of slavery. They don't know what happened in the Jim Crow era. They don't know what happened in the early 1900s, the mid 1900s, in the 1960s and 70s. They don't know about all of these things. And when you try to explain it to them, they say, well, that was in the past. They need to understand. We all need to understand how very ugly racism is. But with that understanding, we have to know why it is. And we say it often on this channel and our ministry channel that this was all prophesied. I will continue to say that so that the sleepers can awake to what is going on and stop living in a dream world trying to mesh with people who don't want to even mess with you, right? Now, what I find interesting about this whole story of Dorothy Dandridge has always been something that's kind of stuck out in my mind, how people who do these kind of things, they don't realize that it makes them look kind of foolish. And let me tell you what I mean by that. You have people that will sleep with Dorothy Dandridge, okay? And you will have people that will allow black women, such as Dorothy Dandridge and others, to breastfeed their babies, like during the times of slavery. A black woman can breastfeed your baby. You can rape her and, sleep with her and be all up on her like that. But you drain the pool because they dip their toe in, or you don't want them in the pool with you. And so it really sounds kind of ignorant if you, you know what I'm saying? If you really look at it, it sounds very ignorant. You messing all with a person, you sleeping with them, they breastfeeding your baby, but you're going to drain the swimming pool. Very ignorant behavior. Very, extremely. We had a similar experience many, many years ago when we lived in Westland, Michigan. At the apartment that we lived in. At the time, I think we only had 2 children, maybe 3. And there was a swimming pool there for the whole community. Now, this was a community where blacks and whites could swim. It wasn't just a whites only hookup. It was for anyone that lived in the community. And this was a very mixed, diverse community. I've even seen one of my oldest daughter's best friends was from Guatemala. So there were all kinds of people living there. But one day we were getting into the pool, my husband and myself and our young children. And these white people, they had a look on their face like, the black folks are starting to get into the pool. It is time for us to exit the pool because they are coming in. Now, they didn't have the courage to say, you're not welcome and all of that because, times don't allow for that in certain areas, right? But their actions spoke louder than words. Okay, this black man and his wife and their kids getting in. Okay, we are getting out. You see? And I wasn't shocked by it. Not shocked at all. Because we've had other experiences as well that were just kind of tripped out. Right? Like I shared the experience of when me and my older sister, when we were teenagers, probably about 14 or 15, or 15 and 16 or whatever, because we were like a year and a half apart. We were walking in Detroit up West Warren, west of Joy Road, when it was a large white population still, because we lived in there back in the 80s, right? But anyway, we saw on the side of some restaurants or businesses where it said whites only. You see, even at the age that we were kind of like, man, this is a trip. Whites only. So I've had many experiences with racial problems in this country. I have. Many of you have as well. Some of you ignore it. You can't ignore things that affect your life, you know. Neither do we have to let it bring us down, but we have to be fully aware of what's going on. But I share these experiences because I don't want our young people to live in la la land. They need to understand and know what has happened in the past and what continues to happen so that they can stop getting on television saying, I can't believe they're treating us this way. I don't understand why they don't like us. So they can stop with all the whining. So that they can stop crying about the treatment that they are receiving as if they are so hurt. Because trust me, people who treat others this way, regardless to what your color is, if you have enough nerve and gall to mistreat another person, 9 times out of 10, you can care less about their tears. So why give someone the satisfaction of crying because you were mistreated by them? You've given them the battle. You've let them win. You see. Anyway, I'm done with this story. Want to know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Of course, like I say many times, I know the thoughts of many of my listeners because you put them in the comment section, so I know how many of you think in regards to these things. But let me know what your comments are. If you haven't already, subscribed to the channel, share and like this video. And with that, I'm out. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.